What if the most terrifying evil isn't driven by hatred or vengeance, but by an absolute lack of emotion? Today we're going to meet with such a character from Demon Slayer, Doma, the upper rank 2 of the 12 Kizuki. Doma is a complex antagonist, whose story is as intriguing as it is chilling. Doma's story begins with his extraordinary birth. He was born with mesmerizing multicolored eyes and hair. He was immediately deemed special by the people around him. From a young age, Doma was thrust into the role of a prophet, believed to be a bridge between the divine and mortal realms. Followers flocked to him, seeking guidance and enlightenment. However, behind the facade of this divine child was a hollow soul. Despite the adoration and reverence, Doma felt nothing. Emotions that came naturally to others were foreign to him. The prayers, the worship, the blind faith, all of it seemed pointless. He viewed his followers with indifference, unable to grasp the weight of their devotion. This lack of emotion wasn't due to trauma or upbringing, it was an intrinsic part of his being. At the age of 20, Doma's life took a dark turn. His mother discovered his father's affair. She was consumed by rage and despair, and she killed his father and then took her own life. Most would be shattered by such a gruesome family tragedy, but not Doma. He observed the scene with the same detachment he'd always felt, pondering the foolishness of their actions rather than mourning their loss. It was shortly after this incident that Doma crossed paths with Muzan Kibutsuji, the progenitor of all demons. Muzan, who was already on the lookout for individuals with potential, was intrigued by Doma's unique disposition. Muzan immediately recognized the void within him and transformed Doma into a demon. This was the beginning of Doma's descent into darkness, a path that would see him rise rapidly through the ranks of demon kind. As a demon, Doma's lack of emotions became his greatest asset. Free from the shackles of human morality and empathy, he indulged in his new existence with calm efficiency. Consuming humans became a routine, and he showed a particular preference for young women. Their flesh not only nourished him, but also seemed to align with his twisted notion of offering salvation. Doma's power grew exponentially. His abilities surpassed many of his peers, and it wasn't long before he joined the 12 Kizuki, the elite group of demons serving directly under Muzan. Starting as the upper rank 6 demon, Doma's strength and cunning allowed him to eliminate those above him, eventually claiming the position of upper rank 2. His rise was a testament to his relentless nature and the void where his consciousness should have been. Despite his transformation, Doma continued to lead the Eternal Paradise faith. The cult became a perfect front for his heinous activities. He promised his followers salvation and eternal happiness, manipulating their beliefs with ease. Many who sought refuge within the cult's walls, especially vulnerable women, found themselves becoming his next meal. Doma's manipulation was masterful. He presented himself as a benevolent leader, offering comfort and hope. Yet behind closed doors, he viewed his followers as mere sustenance. To him, consuming them was an act of mercy, a way to free them from the suffering of the mortal world. This twisted morality underscored his actions, blurring the lines between salvation and damnation. One of the most significant events in Doma's life was his encounter with Kotoha Hashibira, the mother of Inosuke Hashibira, a prominent member of the Demon Slayer Corps. Kotoha, fleeing an abusive situation, sought shelter within the Eternal Paradise faith. Her innocence, naivety, and beautiful singing voice captivated Doma. For a time, Kotoha lived peacefully within the cult, unaware of the horrors that lurked beneath the surface. However, upon discovering Doma's true nature, her world was shattered. In a desperate attempt to save herself and her infant son, she fled the cult. Doma, seeing her escape as a slight inconvenience, pursued without urgency. Kotoha's escape ended tragically. Cornered and with no way out, she made the ultimate sacrifice, throwing Inosuke into a river in hopes that he might survive, moments before Doma killed her. Unbeknownst to Doma, Inosuke did survive, growing up in the wild and eventually joining the Demon Slayer Corps. This act set the stage for a future confrontation, fueled by vengeance and justice. Inosuke grew up oblivious to his past and the identity of his mother's killer. However, fate has a way of bringing stories full circle. As a member of the Demon Slayer Corps, Inosuke crossed paths with Doma during the Infinity Castle arc. Initially unaware of their connection, Inosuke's fierce determination and combat prowess caught Doma's attention. It wasn't until later that Inosuke learned the truth about his mother and Doma's role in her death. This revelation ignited a fiery desire for retribution. Inosuke's usually brash and carefree demeanor was overshadowed by a newfound focus to destroy the demon who had torn his family apart. Doma's path of destruction didn't end with Kotoha. He also encountered Kanae Kocho, the Flower Hashira and one of the most skilled swordsmen in the Demon Slayer Corps. Their battle was fierce, but despite Kanae's strength and grace, she was mortally wounded. Doma, ever detached, saw the fight as mere amusement. Before succumbing to her injuries, Kanae managed to describe Doma to her younger sister, Shinobu Kocho. This event became the catalyst for Shinobu's unyielding quest for vengeance. Determined to avenge her sister, Shinobu dedicated herself to becoming stronger, honing her skills and developing deadly poisons specifically aimed at defeating demons like Doma. The stage was set for a final confrontation during the Infinity Castle arc. After the death of the Upper Rank 3, Akaza, Muzan summoned the remaining upper ranks to the Infinity Castle. Here, Doma crossed paths with Shinobu Kocho, now the Insect Hashira. The encounter was inevitable, a collision of apathy and determination. Shinobu attacked with fierce precision, utilizing her poisoned weapons and swift techniques. However, Doma's strength and regenerative abilities proved overwhelming. He overpowered Shinobu, absorbing her into his body. But Shinobu had anticipated this outcome. She had infused her entire body with a lethal amount of wisteria-based poison, turning herself into a deadly weapon. As the poison began to take effect, weakening Doma from within, Kanao, Tsuyuri, and Inosuke arrived to continue the fight. Together, they launched a coordinated attack, exploiting Doma's deteriorating state. Doma, unaccustomed to such emotions as frustration or concern, found himself in an unfamiliar position. Throughout the battle, Doma mocked human emotions, viewing them as pointless hindrances. Flashbacks of his past surfaced, highlighting his twisted worldview and reinforcing his belief in the futility of feelings. However, facing the combined might of Kanao and Inosuke, Doma began to experience something new, a flicker of emotion he couldn't quite comprehend. Kanao and Inosuke, driven by their personal vendettas and the desire to protect humanity, fought with everything they had. Their attacks were fueled by love, anger, pain, and hope, the very emotions Doma had lacked. In a climactic moment, they managed to decapitate him, dealing a fatal blow. As Doma began to disintegrate, he confronted the reality of his existence. For the first time, he sensed a void. Not the familiar emptiness he had always known, but a longing for something more. He reached out, experiencing a semblance of emotion, perhaps regret or sorrow. It was a poignant end for a character who had lived without feeling. Doma's personality was a paradox. On the surface, he appeared friendly and charismatic, effortlessly drawing people to him. Yet beneath that veneer was an apathetic void. He genuinely believed that consuming humans was an act of mercy, a way to free them from suffering. This twisted morality made him all the more dangerous, as he felt justified in his actions. His abilities as a demon were formidable. Doma possessed cryokinesis, allowing him to generate ice and frost from his blood. His demon blood art manifested in techniques like freezing clouds and lotus vines, creating deadly ice constructs that could incapacitate or kill his opponents. His regenerative powers were top tier, enabling him to recover from injuries that would be fatal to others. Initially resistant to poisons, Doma underestimated the potency of Shinobu's wisteria-based toxin. This hubris contributed to his downfall, as he failed to recognize the threat until it was too late. His overconfidence, stemming from years of unmatched power, blinded him to the possibility of defeat. Doma's death was a significant victory for the Demon Slayer Corps. Eliminating one of the strongest upper ranks shifted the balance in their favor. But beyond the tactical advantage, his demise had profound emotional implications for the characters involved. For Inosuke, it meant avenging his mother and finding closure to a chapter of his life he hadn't fully understood. For Kanao, it was fulfilling Shinobu's mission and honoring Kanae's memory. Their triumph was a testament to the strength of human emotion, a direct counter to Doma's lifelong apathy. Doma's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of detachment and the dehumanizing effects of apathy. His lack of empathy didn't make him invincible, it made him vulnerable. In the end, it was the very emotions he dismissed that led to his defeat. Doma stands as one of the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba's most complex and chilling antagonists. His journey from a revered child prophet to a powerful, emotionless demon is a narrative steeped in irony and tragedy. Despite his immense power and charisma, it was his inability to feel that ultimately led to his downfall. Through Doma's story, the series explores profound themes: the nature of humanity, the power of emotions, and the consequences of a life devoid of empathy. His interactions with characters like Kotoha, Inosuke, Kanae, and Shinobu weave a rich tapestry of connections that highlight the impact one individual can have on many lives. In the end, Doma's tale is a reminder that emotions are not weaknesses, but sources of incredible strength. It's the love, determination, and hope within the human heart that can overcome even the darkest of evils. As we reflect on Doma's life and demise, we're left to consider the profound message at the heart of his story: the relentless pursuit of humanity in the face of monstrous indifference. What are your thoughts on Doma's character? Do you believe his lack of emotion made him more formidable, or was it his greatest weakness? Share your insights in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Demon Slayer's most intriguing villains, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more explorations into the world of anime and manga. Until next time, stay stay passionate and keep embracing the stories that move you. See you next time!